Salam! This story is part of a series titled The Seattle Jijinas. At the age of 17, when most young people in the US were thinking about driver's license and cars, I was excited about getting my first brand new 10-speed bicycle. And it was not going to be any bicycle, it would be a Schwinn. However, there was a catch. My mom would be in charge of it. And when it came to my mother, well, let's just say I had trust issues. Now, most people might think, well, this is just a young person going through a rebellious phase. But what if I told you there was more to it than that? Not only was I drawing on past experiences, but the universe, or my intuition, was preparing me for things to come. Welcome to Storytime with Kumars. My name is Kayo Jijina, and this is my story titled A Schwinn Summer. I hope you enjoy it. July of 1977, Seattle, Washington. Summer had arrived, and brother and I were living the dream. We were no longer in school and could work 7 days a week building a home for Mom. We could devote all of our time to it. Things might have gone well if we could have taken direction from the contractors Dad hired, Mr. Lodgleen and Dave. They were kind, understood the business, and knew what they were doing. Instead, Dad was the middleman, new to the construction business, and I knew what it was like to work for him. There was the temper, indecisiveness that made working for Dad a challenge. The constant waiting around as Dad tried to figure out what to do next. He had a knack for creating extra work when none was needed. And if 7 days a week was not enough, we worked long hours, sometimes as late as 10 p.m., before we closed up for the night and packed things away. All of this took its toll on brother and me, as we were required to show good manners in front of outsiders. Being the oldest, I was usually the one to stand up, insert foot in mouth, and say something. Most of the times, I got the worst end of the deal. But change came, and it came slowly. At some point, in between the complaints and bickering, Mom approached us with a deal. I know this is difficult for you boys, and Daddy doesn't always make it easier. Mom always referred to Dad as Daddy, an English thing from growing up in India. I want this to be over with as much as you do. The sooner we get it done, the sooner we can get on with our lives. This is when Mom announced the deal. The carrot at the end of the stick, the bon of the bonbon. If you work hard all summer long, 7 days a week, with good attitudes, we will buy you new bicycles. What do you think of that? Even though Mom had left us with a question, there was no real choice. Either we worked and got the bicycles, or we worked and got nothing at all. Not working was not an option. Part of the offer came as a surprise. It must have been the part where Mom said, new bicycles. Such things were not in our vocabulary or way of thinking, so I decided to be a smart aleck about it. Do you mean new bicycle, as in not just new to us but never been ridden before? And not from the Salvation Army? From a real bicycle store? I had to say the word bicycle twice just to make sure we were talking apples to apples. 2 wheels, a metal frame, one I can sit on bicycle? If I had the foresight, I might have made a good contract negotiator. Yes, of course, said Mom in a matter-of-fact way. So what was the catch? Asked the mind. Most young people my age could take an offer such as this at face value and run with it. However, that's not the way it was when it came to my relationship with Mom. As a young person growing up in our household, I came to know my intuition. I couldn't always follow it, but it told me when something was up. It's how I survived growing into adulthood. When it came to Mom, there were definitely trust issues. I needed to sit with this for a while. Any chance we could get it before summer ends, came brother? Summer? Depending on whether or not you have the points. What points? I asked, This was something new. We were treading on unknown territory. The slopes were slippery slick, the decks wet. We are going to set up a point system. As soon as you boys collect 100 points, you'll get the bicycles. The points are for the extra work you do. What does extra mean, emphasizing the word extra? After all, it already felt like the work we were doing was extra. Well, working harder than usual, longer than usual. For example, on top of the construction projects. One of the rentals needs something, things like that. Mom was a bit vague, but I was beginning to get the picture. Later, I queried Brother, "What do you think?" "Well, we have to do the work anyway, might as well get something for it." Every Sunday, the three of us would gather after work and negotiate for points. Brother and I would bring up everything we considered to be extra, hoping to sway Mom, and when it was over, Mom would scribe the number of points on 2 slips of paper called chits. One for Brother and one for me. And sign it M.R. Jijina. Each of us got the same number of points regardless of who did the work. This was one of the few times Brother and I were not pitted against each other. Instead, we worked together. Most Sundays we earned between 2 to 5 points for the week. One week we earned a whopping 10 points. It had to do with resurrecting an old sewer line in one of the rentals. It was made of clay pipes that fit together in 24-inch sections, like a funnel, and would constantly get clogged from tree roots. For a plumber with the right tools, clearing the line would have been a breeze and taken a couple of hours. For Dad, Brother, and me, it took all day. The work was awful, including digging, and by the time we came home, we smelled like aliens from an unknown planet. "You boys make sure to dump your clothes in the washing machine," yelled Mom as we tried to enter the house, but were rerouted to the basement. During one of our negotiations, Mom asked, "How many points have I given you so far?" The question seemed a little odd, and I hadn't checked in a while. I took my best guess. Not sure, the last time I checked it was around 60 points. My inner voice came alive. What do you think she is up to? What difference should it make how many points she has already given us? What we earn is what we earn. Unless... The thoughts were formulating like magic rings with words inscribed on the inside. Unless she is trying to slow things down a bit so we don't earn the bicycles too soon and lose our incentive for work. Is that possible? Came the question. Possible, came the answer. Later that evening, I counted up the chits and found I had 72. And the conversation with the mind continued. Did I tell Mom or not? What if she asked to see the chits? Then what did I do? Well, came the response. If she wants to see them, show them to her. But there's no reason to volunteer anything. What you said at the time was true. You thought you had 60 points. Over the weeks, I kept count, and eventually we were at 97 points. 3 more was all we needed for our bicycle. I was so close. For the first time, I allowed myself the luxury of fantasizing and not holding back. The freedom to roam even further. We had already made some progress with Dad when it came to our old bicycles. In the beginning, we were limited to only riding in our block. Sunday came. Brother and I were ready. We were on the same page. After work, we washed up, and the 3 of us gathered around the table. The negotiations began. Mom started by offering 2 points. I tried for 3, but Mom would not relent. Brother swooped in for the clothes. He had a way with Mom. Mom agreed. The mind jumped in. Wait for it. Wait for it. The chit had to be filled out, signed and in my hand before it was official. I reached into my pocket with my right hand and grabbed the wad of chits I had saved as the left hand prepared to accept the final 3 points. As soon as I had it, the fisted right hand ripped out of my jeans and slammed palm down on the yellow Formica table so hard it was heard all over the city. 100 points! Within minutes, the radio announced a 3.4 magnitude earthquake with the epicenter in the Greenwood neighborhood of Seattle. Mom's face turned red like that of a fireball. "I don't believe you! You are lying to me! Let me count them!" She held out her hand. I had learned to remain silent during times like these. 97, 98, 99, 100. The fight from Mom's face was gone when she came to the realization she had been duped, bamboozled, hoodwinked. "I was going to give you the bicycle before you reached 100 points." For one short moment, I felt something. What was it? Was it guilt? Well, that was her MO. Her modus operandi was to make us feel guilty for things we had not done. No, I realized I felt sorry for her. Had she actually tried to do something nice for us, but I didn't trust her enough to allow it to unfold? Back in those days, the mind had to be 2 steps ahead of the heart. "Stop wallowing in your pity," said the mind. "Mom can still go back on her word, and even though you have the chit, it means nothing to her. As soon as possible, we have to let Dad know. He will make sure she keeps her word. Dad will keep her honest." That was the summer we earned our Schwinn bicycles. Some evenings Dad stopped work at 5 p.m. and the taste of freedom that came from riding was oh so sweet.